know better the pain of bearing a child, to know that they cannot afford to lose one, have broken a nerve. They're not stopping, they say, until it is all over.
The morbid incident in KUMBA has been condemned by Cameroonians in and out of the country, as well by international community. They are unanimous that no matter the political requests of some individuals, no life of a child should be taken, neither should the right to education be flaunted. Killian Dandifon has the following commentary.
Victory and his schoolmates of the St. Francisca's International Bilingual Academy KUMBA could have been school children from any other institution of learning around the country. They are children with mothers, fathers, and other relations. They could have been your children. Victory and his mates are our children. Why would anyone for any reason target and massacre these angels, innocent children who know nothing and have bargained for nothing in the crisis? Targeting education in the crisis in the Northwest and Southwest regions is synonymous to the philosophy of Boko Haram, who declared Western education an anathema. The KUMBA school massacre is cruel, it is inhuman, it is despicable, it is unjustified. The incident is an attack on humanity. It is an attack on Cameroon, and the country has to rise up as one person, not only to condemn it, but most importantly, to say enough is enough and make sure that anyone who simply thinks of committing such an act should not live in the community of the living. Severally, women have cried out, churches and other concerned groups have raised their voices, and like me, I know you can hear the voice of victory, those of his mates and all others who have innocently died in the crisis, saying, God help my people, enough is enough, end the killings and end the crisis.
The presidents of the Senate, Marsenyan Jifenji, senators and the staff of the institution also decried the atrocities in KUMBA and called for a stop to what is described as a cowardly and vain fight. They appealed to a sense of responsibility of the countries hosting and protecting the sponsors of such heinous acts directed against the Cameroonian people. In this regard, the Senate will continue to fight against terrorism in Cameroon that remains one and indivisible. Political parties continue their outpour on the barbaric and abominable murder of 7 pupils and the serious wounding of several others who are battling for survival. The president of the National Union for Democracy and Progress, NUDP, Bello Bubamaigari, says it is unacceptable to harm innocent children in their quest for education. Here's an excerpt of his interview.
They must be brought to justice. Nothing can explain or justify such heinous crimes. Killing innocent citizens who have nothing to do with politics cannot be excused. So everybody, not only our forces of security and defense, must understand every Cameroonian have a duty to find those criminals and bring them to book.
On to one of our top stories, African youth have been urged to reposition the continent on the world scene like it was done during the liberation of France and the independence of their different countries. The call was made by Prime Minister Joseph John Goute, representing President Paul Biya, at the Brazzaville de Gaulle colloquium, which marks 80 years of the Brazzaville Declaration and 60 years of the independence of Congo. Christian Chiatam is on special assignment in Congo-Brazzaville and now reports.
Celebrating a city far from France, which yet became the capital of France, the Free France, from 1940 to 1944. The Brazzaville de Gaulle colloquium to mark 80 years of General de Gaulle's Brazzaville Manifesto and 60 years of Congolese independence attracted high-level personalities from the Central African sub-region and beyond. They all saluted the role played by Brazzaville in the successes recorded by General Charles de Gaulle for the liberation of France during World War II. Jean-Yves Le Drian, French foreign minister, personal representative of Emmanuel Macron, said without the contribution of Brazzaville, France would probably not have been what it is today. Host President Denis Sassou Nguesso and his peers of the Central African sub-region said the time has come for Africa to rise to its full potential. Prime Minister Joseph John Goute, personal representative, of Head of State Paul Biya, said Africa's demographic strength and the vibrancy of its youth can be the determining factor. The inaugural lesson of the colloquium painted a picture of a proud general, de Gaulle, who found strength in a seaside town, Brazzaville, and succeeded to push for the liberation of his country. Leaders of Central Africa and heads of international organizations are urging African youths to rise up once more and take to the challenge of development like their peers did 80 years before them.
During his speech at today's opening of the Brazzaville de Gaulle colloquium, Prime Minister Joseph John Goethe said the youth are an important trump card for development. He urged them to be creative and innovative and enjoined states to accompany the youth in the realization of their dreams. Here's an excerpt of Prime Minister Joseph John Goethe.
Africa is the breadbasket of Western economies and more than ever, the hope of a new world, the catalyst of a new economy, and youth is Africa's strength. The youths have to be guided to attain their full potential. That is the stake for the repositioning of Africa as a major player on the world scene today.
Away from that Brazzaville de Gaulle colloquium, we take you to our newsroom dossier where we zoom in on the concept of parent-teacher associations in schools. Commonly called PTA, the structure gives parents an opportunity to have their say on the happenings in schools and to enhance the learning environment. It is also a forum to raise funds for school projects. But who pays for what? And how is the money managed? Beatrice Ngum finds out.
At the start of every new school year, the PTAs often start raising funds for new projects. But to decide on the needs of schools, PTA committees must comply with the text.
PTAs are governed by the association laws of 1990. The association determines the levy and not the ministry, not even the principal.
The PTA committee determines how much each learner should pay.
If the total amount is 15 million francs, and the enrollment is 1,500 students. Each student in this case pays 10,000 francs.
Their development plan gives priority to projects considered most rewarding to learners.
A typical rural environment where there is a government school and maybe that school has just a head teacher. Parents with the teachers, they will vote an amount to enable them get PTA teachers.
Other institutions invest in school trips, playground equipment, school rehabilitation projects, construction work, e-learning, didactic material, and lots more.
The funds required for PTA is gradually becoming a bone of contention between parents and institutions. Nowadays, it seems to be obligatory, and the amount disbursed could even surpass 50,000 francs CFA. Parents are at a loss on the regularity of the payments as well as their effective use. Cynthia Saptala props into the issue.
The payment of PTA dues is no new trend for parents. What is new and concerning is the amount demanded by some school authorities, an amount that differs for different reasons.
I'm paying 28,000, and then since it has gone to final advanced level, I pay 18,000. I don't know the use for it.
The information given to most is that these amounts are used either to pay part-time teachers, build classrooms, or provide additional furniture. But off camera and by phone, a parent disclosed that they paid 30,000 francs as PTA fee in a government technical college.
It's really paradoxical because if school fees is 17,500 and then you pay 50,000 for PTA levy, it's so discouraging. The complaint of the parents is that when this PTA fee is collected, it is not used adequately.
However, there are laws on these PTA funds and their amounts. It would now seem that following up its implementation in state and private schools is urgently needed.
Not all schools are engaged in the misuse of funds contributed by parents to ease learning or to improve on the quality of lessons dispensed. In the case where the state has been unable to equip science laboratories, for example, some schools have gone the extra mile to provide the adequate equipment that has in the long run positively impacted the results of students in official examinations. Ewane Pole reports on some of these examples that are worth emulating.
Despite the bickering between most school officials and parent-teachers associations, the PTA remains a vital instrument for school development. About 80% of education authorities in the Central Region say their relations with PTAs are friendly. Examples are that of Government Bilingual High School Ekunu and Government High School Angisa in Yaoundé, where the PTA is bent on making teaching and learning conducive.
PTA help us to pay the salaries of our teachers, to maintain our infrastructure, to do some reflection in our school. And I think that with their accompaniment, we are very satisfied.
The money comes from the 23,500 CFA francs PTA levy paid yearly by each student. The school administration works hand in glove in the day-to-day activities of the PTA, as its budget is managed by the parents themselves and the school council.
Away from Adossier, 5 Cameroonians who benefited from the Afrismo scholarship scheme have traveled to France for a 5-year professional training. The project is born of a partnership agreement between Afrique Education in Cameroon and France. Gerard Nanji Eyambe witnessed the send-forth ceremony in Yaoundé. Here's his report.
These are the 5 Cameroonian laureates to benefit from an Afrimus program, a mobility project for development between Cameroon and France.
Helping the young Cameroonian to go in France to acquire knowledge.
This exchange program is geared towards supporting these youth to acquire high professional technical training in sectors relevant and urgent for the emergence of Cameroon.
I'm very happy to have obtained this scholarship. I'm going there to study automobile mechanic. I chose the field because I wanted to make a difference.
I have obtained a scholarship to go and study auto mechanic. I want to later create enterprises in my country for job opportunities.
Upon completion of the 5-year program in France, they are expected to return home, where they will set up their own businesses.
The wearing of face masks in public places will be mandatory until further notice.
It is exactly 7:50 and 4 weeks into the new school year. The Ministry of Public Health is gauging the respect of barrier measures in the school milieu. So far, the assessment made is positive, as both pupils, students and teachers are conscious of the dangers of the coronavirus. For a few still reluctant, they are enjoined to remain vigilant. Baldwin Sama is with his guest, Dr. Simon Nuji, at the Public Health Emergency Operations Center with more. Hello, Baldwin.
Good evening to you, Esther KIMA. Despite the fact that these public health experts have expressed some satisfaction with the respect of barrier measures so far, there are still some persons. We're talking about people reluctant to respect these barrier measures, and that is why they say they must continue with the sensitization campaign to ensure that the spread against the coronavirus is limited in the education sector. We discussed that tonight with our guest, Dr. Simon Nuji, who is a public health expert. Good evening, doctor.
Yeah, evening.
Tell us, who are those mainly concerned with as far as respecting these barrier measures in the different schools in Cameroon is concerned?
You know, the fight against COVID-19 continues. So if you want to win that fight, everybody in the school should respect all the barrier measures. You know, when you teach something to one student, the student learn more and well when the student see the teacher apply what they are teaching. So it's really important that all the teachers, all the staff, all the students should respect in the school all the barrier vision. That is really important to improve the fight against COVID-19.
What about the teachers?
All the teachers should wash their hands. The students should see how the teacher wash their hands, and when the teacher teach to the student how to wash, they see the student will learn more and apply that. All that things really well.
Thank you so much, Dr. Simon Nuji, public health expert. The campaign continues in the different schools 4 weeks into this 2020-2021 school year. People, students, and teachers must continue being involved in this fight against the coronavirus. Back to you, Esther KIMA.
Thanks very much, Paul Samuel, for providing us details on how vigilant we should all stay, especially on school campuses, to keep the coronavirus out of Cameroon. Internet connection in Cameroon will soon be less costly and the speed faster, as 2 internet exchange points have been installed in Douala and in Yaoundé. The government, through the Ministry of Posts and Telecommunications, has signed a public-private partnership with Cameroon Internet Exchange Points, CAMIX. Yoti Kalelisongo reports on the agreement which will develop the country's digital economy.
Super fast, cheaper, and promoting the .cm domain name are some of the benefits that come with having internet exchange points in Cameroon.
When you have to send an email, data are exchanged abroad, and this allowed a very high cost. For now, all internet providers, all operators are going to exchange the traffic locally. Google, Amazon are now allowed to come and put their infrastructure at our EXPs.
A breakthrough in the country's digital economy that will improve on the internet experience for users.
The price of the giga will decrease. When you will watch streaming, you will only pay the connection and no internet.
For now, Douala and Yaoundé are the 2 cities where CAMIX infrastructure are located.
Why not later, one at Garoua, Bamenda, and what we need is that really all operators, all internet providers should be connected to those EXPs.
This will provide quality services for users.
In this advertorial, MTN Cameroon has inaugurated a 6th agency in the key neighborhood of the nation's capital, Yaoundé. The MTN store, commissioned by the governor of the Central Region, Nasiri Paul Beya, is intended to meet the aspirations of customers with quality service provider and experienced staff. Beatrice Ngum reports.
The new MTN Service Center stands conspicuous in the Kien neighborhood in Yaoundé 4. The store will serve the people of this council area in that it will not just be about serving the customers, it will also be about pleasing them.
First of all, I want to thank the management of MTN for bringing their services closer to the population. You can take your money from here and you go to the shop and buy what you need. This area of the town is far from the city center. So not to make people go down to the city center for MTN services, they will find it here. So it is a good bet for them. And we thank MTN for that.
The MTN store will offer innovative services, amongst which are money transfer, SIM swap, modems, and phone purchase, amongst others.
Even when the store will be closed, we have seen this small window there. The customer will be able to do all the operation related to mobile money, cash in, cash out, and so on. The agent is also coming with the new service that we just launched, which is the MTN Plus, where you'll be able also to get very affordable price, all network. This is the launch that we also want to come with the new service center. The team that we have put here is the best one. We have done the next level of training for them to serve properly the customer with the right customer experience. Because as we are used to seeing MTN, our customer is our family.
MTN Citizen Approach has seen the South African company running 6 agencies in Yaoundé and 23 across the national territory, with about 10 million subscribers in the country. The new MTN boss, Stephen Blewett, will therefore have a task to respond to the worries of their Cameroonian subscribers, one of which remains ensuring quality network and services to MTN users.
On today's obituary, the Cameroon Radio Television CRTV is mourning one of its finest radio and television news anchors, Mireille Lambo-Tiwa. This is her voice.
Good afternoon. It's Monday, the 28th of September 2020. Another week in your company on CRTV's afternoon edition. I'm Mireille Lambo in Yaoundé. Thanks for joining us.
Senior journalist at the Service for Proofreading and Rewriting at the national station died today in Yaoundé. The dynamic, talented, assiduous and soft-spoken professional who joined the corporation in 1999 moves to eternity at the age of 48. She leaves behind a son, a mother, and a professional family devastated by her demise. We shall be paying profound homage to Mireille Lambo-Tiwa in our subsequent newscasts. Now in sports, an extraordinary General Assembly of the Cameroon Professional Football League has taken place today to chart the way forward for the upcoming football season. Apart from elaborating measures which will boost the football sector in the country, an evaluation of the last football season was made, as we hear this report by Daniel Ekonde.
The extraordinary General Assembly, coming 2 months before the General Assembly, validated the 2019-2020 football season organized by FECAFOOT, then laid down principles to usher in the new season, in which LFPC officials are previewing a date before November 7. The modification of the statutes guiding candidatures for posts of board members was also set. It means people aspiring to replace deceased and resigned members will have to make their files available to the league secretariat 12 days before the General Assembly this December. 20 teams out of 35 attended the meeting that did not have a representative from FECAFOOT. Yet LFPC is upbeat. Its drive to regain its leadership of the leagues will come to fruition.
That will be all for this edition of the 7:30 News, in which you heard that the Interministerial Committee charged with extending the concern of the state of victims of Saturday's carnage in KUMBA, assists survivors, and also condoled with the bereaved has been made. A security meeting to check the carnage was also held in KUMBA today, presided over by the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji. More news comes up at 8:30 p.m. with Adel Mbala. I'll be back tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. God willing. Thanks for watching the 7:30 News. Good night.
In this connection, we should avoid stigmatizing.
CRTV News, ici, toute l'info.